going for Jordan Kurtzman.
I got a little rush of nervousness, but you guys seem nice, so we're okay. And thanks for staying up past my bedtime with me. Just trying to find a little common ground. Was anyone in this room raised by a narcissist? All right. Does anyone in here have a dad who runs a blog that's mostly poetry about how much he loves Taylor Swift? No, just me? Okay. So my therapy copay just went up quite a bit, and I've realized that a great way to get free therapy is just to give up on a bad date. So there are a lot of Jewish lawyers running around LA who know a lot about my dad. I'm really grateful to be here doing stand-up. I had to take a little bit of a break from doing comedy. I had a UTI for a month, and it's just as much fun as it sounds. It wasn't. And when 3 rounds of antibiotics didn't work, I decided to get kind of mystical. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the phenomenon known as The Secret, but let's just say that my vision board is pictures of clean urine samples. I'm manifesting a really happy bladder. So an update to that, in case you were like on the edge of your seat being like, I wonder what happened with her UTI. It actually, I know, right? It wasn't a UTI. It was pelvic floor dysfunction. And I'm sure you're like, oh my God, another hypertonic pelvic floor dysfunction joke. But I have to get physical therapy, which means I get finger banged in a clinical setting by a Russian woman named Marina twice a month. So they call it myofascial release. And I was like, oh, that's what you call it. I guess I've been myofascial released in the backseat of a Toyota Yaris somewhat recently. I was going through my jokes recently. I was going through my bits. And I realized that a lot of them ended me going to urgent care. It's my favorite place. What can I say? If Kaiser has like a punch card, I'm totally due for a free pap smear at this point. You know when you sign up for like Obamacare and they have all those leading questions like, are you young? Are you old? Are you a constantly worried Jew? That's me. Going back to trying to find common ground, has anybody had the experience of running to urgent care in a panic, thinking that they'd had herpes, and then found out that it was, tiny drum roll, razor burn! Yeah! 3 cheers for razor burn! I've never been so happy to have fucking razor burn. I waited for 2.5 hours to have a doctor laugh in my vagina. That's right. And, I used those 2.5 hours pretty responsibly. I was like Kubler-Rossing like a boss, all 5 stages of grief. By which I mean I just obsessively Googled dating with herpes, which I don't have. Any single employed Jewish men, preferably tall, don't have herpes. Just so you know. Have you guys ever noticed that the word testosterone, when written out, looks like it should be an Italian soup or pasta? The waiter's like, we have our minestrone, and then we have our seasonal special, the testosterone. I mean, it's probably testosterone, right? And first of all, testosterone soup is probably just cum, so don't order it. But I would also love to hear how Giada De Laurentiis would pronounce it. The hot Food Network lady who says like mozzarella, like mozzarella. I think she would really go to town on testosterone. Woof. So a lot of comics like to talk about porn because they're guys who like to talk about porn. And it's not my jam. I don't know. I think it's the tribal tattoos. But I've realized that my version of porn is YouTube videos that make me cry. Because sometimes you want to get off and sometimes you just want to sob uncontrollably, I'm like on the Holocaust Museum's YouTube page, like some sick fuck, looking for that sad documentary. I mean, why come when you can sob over your keyboard, right? So I inherited my laptop from an unnamed older male relative. For his privacy, we are withholding the name. And I know what you guys are thinking. He cleared out all the bookmarks and everything except for the bookmarks in Safari. He forgot about Safari. And it wasn't porn. It was adult video news forum talk pages. Because he's an old Jew who likes to argue about everything, including what to jerk off to. And it was so gross. It was so in character that it was like extra disgusting. Oh my God. Does anyone in here have an old animal? And by animal, I mean pet, to clarify. Oh, no one has an old... Yeah? Okay, good. Old pets are great. So my last childhood pet, Chester Arthur Cat, is hanging on by one tiny and untrimmable claw. He's 16 and a half. He has diabetes, but the diabetes got a lot better when he got cancer, so he's doing great. You know, he's living his best life. You know, he's doing his bucket list, which for a cat is just eating a lot of deli meats and taking a lot of naps. So, and I mean, when I die, I want someone to stroke my hair and feed me boar's head smoked turkey. That sounds great. God. So I recently got out of a relationship that wasn't really a relationship with a guy who was too religious to fuck me, but not too religious to like sleepily rub his boner against my leg and be like really dramatic about it. So he was a Mormon, and so I started Googling a lot about Mormons and sex, and I found this thing that it wasn't. We never actually did it, but it's like all the rage at Brigham Young University, apparently. It's called floating. Another alternate term I've heard is soaking. And basically the guy just goes in. I guess some people have done this, apparently. Someone just goes in, but he's not allowed to move because God can't see if you're not thrusting. Because God is like a motion-activated porch light. And his dick is like a raccoon trying to get into my trash can. I don't know. I think I just found my new religion, you guys. So just to leave you with this last little bit, I'm an actress. Oh God, I know. And I get to go on all these very artistically fulfilling commercial auditions. And I usually go out for a lot younger than I am, and it's starting to get like a little absurd because I roll into these auditions and it's like 15-year-old actresses and their moms, and like no one has any pores, and I'm like a dried up husk of a human being. And so the other day, a commercial casting director, she said to me, "You're not LA 16, but you could be Ohio 16. And I was like, okay. So I gotta go move to Ohio. Good night.